5 tabs broke me. Yo, what's up? It's someone that's no one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report was sent in by Kole, where he took LSD at 750 micrograms. And here's the full report details. Alright, welcome back to another LSD report. This time coming from a longtime sub, Kole. This being a powerful dose of 750 micrograms. And I won't give away too much about this trip, but it ends up in ego death with some pretty heavy life-changing revelations. Not only about Kole's personal life, but the workings of existence itself. This is Kole's third report, I believe. His first two were pretty wild, so make sure to check them out. This one gets pretty deep, and sometimes these kind of trips can just happen out of nowhere, regardless of the strong dose. But I'm sure you'll enjoy this one, so without further ado, let's dive right into this. So let's answer the questions I asked earlier for my personal hell of an experience. My name is Kole, so it's by me. This happened about 6 months ago, but drug use since 16 has been common. This experience happened at my grandmother's house on 750 micrograms of LSD. Around 7:30 on a particular day, my cousin dropped off 5 tabs of acid for me. We both like psychs, so I asked them to hook me up with these tabs. Naturally, both excitedly and stupidly, I immediately took them, placed the water tabs underneath my tongue, and waited for the effects. As I sat waiting, we smoked some weed and talked about some past trauma. At this time, I was fine, but visuals came on strong and fast. My cousin turned the light off, and in the darkness, we watched our blunt cherry swing around in a blissful tracer fill pattern. Then, things took a very dark turn. I had this immediate sense that I was dying. Tried to tell my cousin that I was, but I couldn't tell him. I knew the effects were too strong to be helped at this point. I went to the basement and laid on the couch before going to hell. I thought I heard cops coming in as my cousin left, and I was alone. Soon after that, my entire field of vision was so covered in visuals I could not see anything. Like oil and paint floating in water is the best I could describe it. This is where the interesting part begins. Inside my head, I was dying, losing memories of who I was and trying desperately to fight to keep my ego, but failed. Learned ego death the hard way. Time did not exist in this space. I was trapped in an alternate reality, it felt like. My grandmother came to check on me, but I was naked and I had pissed myself. When asked questions, I did not respond to her, from her perspective. It was as if my mind and body were now working together. When I could see again, my grandmother was appearing in different parts of the room in a seemingly endless thought loop, where she kept asking me if I wanted a drink of water as she sat next to me while I was suffering. Had a feeling I was being suffocated, and I was in an alternate reality hell, trapped to hear the same line over and over while feeling choked. Finally, midnight rolls around and the peak subsides. But the madness wasn't over. I cried for a few minutes, and suddenly, I was in a place where I was one with everything. I had orgasms by thinking about them. I felt so great and internally in peace after all that suffering I went through. I glanced at my carpet, which I hadn't vacuumed in a few days, and washed it away before deciding I was done with drugs forever. And I cleaned for 2 hours on the intense trip. Very emotional, and dealing with the existential crisis that came with knowing that is what is in store for me when I'm dead. Put me at peace. My grandmother retreats to her room, and I turned on some anime. I couldn't understand what they were saying, so I simply stared at the screen, in awe someone made something like this with their imagination. Then a delusion hit me. Our lives are merely the universe observing itself so it can see all aspects of its existence. No one man can, but the depth and creativity of one's mind is personal and objectively to experience their own version of things. Hope this can help make a video. I'd really be proud. Need more details? Let me know. I wrote this on break.